Hello, dear friends, and welcome. Tonight, we are journeying back to the golden age of the Sassanid Empire in the heart of ancient Persia to spend a quiet winter's evening with a skilled perfumer and soap maker in her fragrant workshop as a gentle snow falls outside and a crackling hearth fills the air with warmth. So settle in, pull your blankets close, and let us begin. Picture, if you will, a cozy chamber of smooth, sun-baked clay walls, adorned with woven carpets and low tables. Shadows dance as the firelight glimmers upon copper vessels. The sweet, earthy scent of rosewater and sandalwood lingers in the air. Our perfumer, clad in a soft indigo robe, ties her linen apron neatly, hands steady and gentle. Each of her movements is unhurried, every detail lovingly attended. Outside, the wind stirs softly, yet within these walls, all is calm and safe. The perfumer's fingers, slender and sure, glide across the polished surface of a walnut-worked table, dusted faintly in flour from the day's early bread-making. By the window, a lattice lets in the last silver-blue light of dusk, revealing the delicate pattern of frost blossoming along its panes. She prepares her evening by gathering small earthen bowls, each filled with petals, damask roses, orange blossoms, sprigs of lavender preserved beneath pure beeswax. The wax is smooth, golden, and faintly sticky to the touch, its scent bright and honeyed. She gently lifts the lid from a jar of ground myrrh, releasing a curling note of spice into the air. Her cat, soft and tawny, stretches languidly beside the hearth, purring with contentment. The world outside recedes, replaced by the gentle rhythm of her work. She draws water from a copper jug, its sides cool and dappled with condensation, and pours it carefully into a glazed clay basin. The water catches the firelight, shimmering with ripples of gold and amber. With a slender pestle, she begins to crush frankincense resin, each tap a muted note in the quiet evening. The smell is sharp and clean, brightening the air with its sacred clarity. Threads of steam rise from the hearth, where a pot of honeyed milk simmers, promising warmth and sweetness later in the night. She pauses to wrap her shawl a little tighter, feeling the comforting roughness of handspun wool on her shoulders. Outside, a flurry of snowflakes drifts past, settling softly on the sill, while the gentle hush of winter wraps the world in a silken silence. Upon her table, the perfumer's implements are laid with precision: a bronze mortar, a carved bone spoon, tiny glass flasks that catch the fire's glow. Her hands move with knowledge earned through quiet years, measuring, stirring, decanting by the faintest increments. She lifts a piece of soap, delicate as a fresh-baked loaf, its surface stamped with the stylized flower of her family's mark. The soap's scent is pure and soft, a blend of olive oil, rose, and a hint of pomegranate peel. She traces the swirling patterns in the bar, remembering the patient processes of saponification, the way time and care transform humble oils into silken luxury. In the background, the low crackle of wood and the purring of her cat create a symphony of coziness, safe and unhurried. A gentle knock sounds at the door, hardly more than a whisper. She rises, feet warmed by the thick wool of her slippers, and opens the heavy cedar door to greet her neighbor, a kindly older woman whose white scarf is dusted with snow. They exchange quiet smiles, and the neighbor offers a small basket of dried figs, tied with a twine bow. The perfumer welcomes her in, offering a seat on a woven cushion close to the hearth. Steam swirls from the simmering milk, and the two women share a companionable silence, broken only by the soft exclamations of delight as the figs are savored, their sweetness a balm against the cold. The neighbor admires the new soaps, tracing a finger along the stamped flowers, her eyes shining with pride for her friend's artistry. Together, they reminisce about seasons past, their conversation meandering like a gentle brook. The perfumer shares memories of gathering rose petals at dawn, dew shimmering like pearls on her fingers, and of her mother teaching her the secrets of blending scent. A touch of bitter orange or a sliver of clove can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The neighbor, in turn, recalls wool-dyeing days, vats of indigo steaming in the courtyard, and the satisfaction of seeing vibrant cloth drying in the crisp air. Their voices are soft, the words weaving a tapestry of shared experience, laughter, and gentle wisdom. The golden light of the hearth flickers against the walls, casting everything in a warm, forgiving glow. The world outside is stilled by snow, and inside, the women find peace in each other's company. As twilight deepens, the perfumer prepares a small dish of saffron-scented honey cakes, their delicate crusts flecked with pistachio. She arranges them on a glazed plate, its surface painted with blue and green vines, a motif passed down through generations. The neighbor breaks her cake in half, savoring the sweet aroma before taking the first tender bite. The perfumer pours tea from a slender silver pot into cups of creamy porcelain, the liquid steeped with dried quince and cardamom. The air is thick with the mingling fragrances of soap, spiced tea, and honeyed pastries. They eat slowly, mindfully, the pleasures of taste and scent anchoring them in the present moment. The perfumer's cat curls at their feet, content to share in the gentle gathering, eyes half closed in drowsy trust. The perfumer rises to tend her simmering pot, stirring the contents with a slender wooden paddle. The soap mixture is creamy and luminous, swirling with the slow alchemy of transformation. She sprinkles in crushed petals, their color deepening as they dissolve, and adds a drop of neroli oil, its citrusy note bright and uplifting. The neighbor watches with admiration, asking about the craft patience it requires, the joy it brings. The perfumer explains how each batch is unique, shaped by the season, the rainfall, and her own quiet mood. Making soap is, for her, an act of devotion, a way to offer beauty and comfort to all who pass through her door. The process is meditative, grounding, and in the winter hush, it feels especially sacred. While the pot cools, the perfumer fetches a small, leather-bound journal and a reed pen. She sits by the hearth, the fire's glow illuminating her thoughtful face, and records today's scents and sensations. Her handwriting is elegant, looping across the creamy parchment, describing the sharpness of frankincense, the velvety touch of rose, the way snow muffles all sounds. To her, these observations are treasures to be preserved, evidence of a day well lived, of moments noticed and cherished. The neighbor, contented, sips her tea and hums a soft lullaby from her childhood. Outside, the wind stirs the snow into delicate eddies, but within the perfumer's home, time slows, and the heart finds respite. With the hour growing later, the neighbor gathers her scarf, preparing to brave the snow once more. The perfumer wraps a warm piece of soap in soft cloth as a parting gift, tucking in a sprig of lavender for luck. They part with a gentle embrace, promises of future visits lingering in the air. The door closes softly, shutting out the winter night. The perfumer lingers by the window, watching her friend's lantern bob gently through the drifting snow, its light a small, steadfast beacon. She breathes deeply, letting the peace of the evening settle around her. The fire's warmth and the memory of shared laughter wrap her in comfort. She returns to her work table, the room hushed and glowing, as if holding its breath, inviting repose and gentle dreams. Now alone, the perfumer turns her attention once more to her fragrant crafts. She pours the cooled soap mixture into carved wooden molds, pressing each one with deliberate care. The molds are lined with oiled parchment, stamped by years of use, and their familiar weight in her hands brings a sense of quiet satisfaction. The clay floor beneath her feet is cool, grounding her as she works. As she smooths the surface of the soap, she recalls the hands of her grandmother guiding hers, teaching her to trust the slow unfolding of each step. The room is filled with the mingled scents of rose, honey, and warm beeswax, carrying whispers of generations past. Outside, snow continues to fall, blanketing the courtyard in silent white. She moves to her collection of tiny glass bottles, each filled with precious oils and extracts gathered from distant corners of the Silk Road. The bottles shimmer like jewels in the low light, each label inked with careful script: jasmine from India, cypress from Anatolia, wild mint from her own garden. She uncorks a vial of rose attar, the scent so pure and vivid it seems to fill the air with memories of sunlit gardens and laughter among the blossoms. With a steady hand, she measures a few drops, blending them with amber and saffron to create a new, delicate perfume. She holds the bottle to the firelight, admiring the way the golden liquid catches the flame, promising comfort on the coldest night. Her work table, smooth with age and burnished by years of careful use, is scattered with petals, dried herbs, and slips of parchment. She arranges her tools with gentle precision, wiping away stray flakes of powder with a linen cloth. The fibers of the cloth are soft, worn thin in places, and its simple weave is beautiful in its humility. She takes a moment to gaze into the hearth, watching the slow dance of flames as they lick across the logs. The fire's heat glows against her cheeks, and she finds herself humming an old Songa lullaby for the night, both fierce and tender. The song floats through the room, mingling with the scents and the warmth, creating a cocoon of safety far from the world's cares. From a basket near the fire, she draws a skein of silk embroidery thread, dyed a gentle shade of pomegranate. She threads a needle and settles by the hearth, the embroidery frame balanced on her knees. Her fingers move smoothly, tracing the outline of a blossom onto a length of linen, each stitch a small act of beauty. The linen is cool and crisp, contrasting with the softness of the silk, and she delights in the way the colors bloom together, petal upon petal. She listens to the quieter log settling in the fire, the cat's rhythmic purring, the soft patter of snow against the window. With every stitch, she feels more grounded, as if sewing herself into the fabric of the evening. A faint tap at the window interrupts her reverie, a small, brown bird seeking warmth from the cold. She gently opens the lattice, allowing the visitor to perch safely on the sill. The bird fluffs its feathers, blinking in the golden firelight, and chirps a soft note of thanks. She crumbles a fragment of honey cake and places it nearby, watching as the bird pecks contentedly. The simple exchange fills her with quiet joy, a reminder that kindness need not be grand to be meaningful. The bird's presence, small and brave, adds another layer of peace to the evening. She resumes her embroidery, the rhythm of her needle now joined by the gentle sound of a tiny beak tapping on porcelain. As the sky darkens fully, the perfumer lights a cluster of beeswax candles on the window ledge. The candle flames flicker softly, their golden glow pooling on the walls and creating tiny islands of light in each shadowed corner. The scent of beeswax is sweet and faintly grassy, mingling with the fragrance of dried rose petals and wood smoke. She places a piece of blue glass near the flame, watching as it casts intricate patterns upon the ceiling, a dance of light and color that soothes her tired eyes. The feeling of the candle's warmth between her palms is comforting, anchoring her in this moment of quiet. She breathes deeply, letting gratitude fill her heart for the beauty of this simple winter's night. She returns to her journal, penning a letter to her sister, who lives in a distant city along the Silk Road. She writes of the snow, the perfumes she has blended, the gentle companionship of her neighbor, and the small bird at the window. Her words are infused with affection and longing, each sentence a thread binding her to family and memory. She tucks a pressed violet between the pages, its purple hue a vivid reminder of spring yet to come. Sealing the letter with a drop of rose-scented wax, she feels the weight of love carried across miles, as if her voice could travel with the scent, bringing comfort and connection. The act of writing soothes her, a soft lull in the hush of the night. The perfumer tends to her small indoor garden, nestled on a low shelf near the hearth. Tiny pots of winter herbs, thyme, mint, and wild violet thrive in the warmth, their leaves glossy and fragrant. She pinches off a sprig of mint, rolling it between her fingers to release its cool, bright aroma. The scent mingles with the lingering perfume of orange blossom, filling the air with promise. She waters each plant with care, the sound of droplets striking earth as gentle as rain on moss. Her touch is light, respectful, honoring the quiet resilience of life in winter. These plants are her companions, steadfast and green, threading summer into even the coldest season. She takes her favorite porcelain teacup from a niche in the wall, its surface painted with curling vines and a single blue bird. The cup is warm to the touch, filled with spiced quince tea, and she savors the sensation as she cradles it in her hands. Sipping slowly, she allows her mind to wander to sunlit olive groves, the laughter of friends, the memory of a distant bazaar alive with color and music. Each sip is a comfort, a link to joy and community, even when the world is still and quiet. The fire casts a gentle glow on her cheeks, and she wraps herself tighter in her shawl, letting the warmth and peace of the evening seep deep into her bones. She glances around her workshop, taking in the gentle order of her world, neat stacks of soap, the rows of fragrant oils, the tidy bundles of dried flowers. The space reflects her spirit, calm, nurturing, imbued with care. She moves with intention, gathering a handful of rose petals to scatter into a bowl of warm water, the petals drifting like little boats on a golden pond. The fragrance intensifies, soothing and sweet. She closes her eyes, letting the scent fill her senses, recalling childhood afternoons spent in sun-drenched gardens, laughter weaving through the air. The memory is soft and luminous, a gentle lull inviting her to slow, to breathe, to simply be, as the winter night settles deeper around her. The perfumer's cat has settled atop a stack of linen towels near the hearth, its fur glowing in the candlelight. The gentle rise and fall of the cat's breathing, so even and calm, becomes a silent lullaby in the quiet room. She strokes its back, feeling the silkiness of its fur beneath her fingertips, and is reminded how instinctively animals find warmth and comfort. She whispers a few soft words, and the cat blinks up at her, purring in approval. Beyond the window, snowflakes continue to drift, catching the lamplight and painting the courtyard in a pattern of pale stars. The world outside is vast and cold, but within these walls, each heartbeat is echoed in the gentle rhythms of home. She selects a shallow wooden tray lined with dried leaves and sets about arranging small vials of perfume for tomorrow's market. Each bottle is wiped clean with a soft cloth, its stopper tied with a strand of crimson thread. The process is slow and mindful, every movement deliberate. She recalls moments from previous markets, friendly faces, quiet compliments, the satisfaction of seeing her crafts bring joy to others. Her hands are steady, the shape and weight of each bottle familiar, grounding her in the present task. The air is fragrant with the promise of orange blossom, cardamom, and a hint of cedar. She smiles, imagining the happiness these scents will bring on a cold morning, like a whisper of spring carried home in a pocket. From a shelf near the fire, she lifts a soft-woven shawl, hand-dyed in gentle hues of rose and ochre. She drapes it around her shoulders, feeling the weight and warmth settle, a comforting embrace. The weave is loose, allowing flecks of light to slip through, and the wool is soft against her skin, imbued with the faint aroma of lavender from long storage. She sits for a moment in quiet gratitude, running her fingers over the fringed edge, recalling the patient hours spent spinning and dyeing. The shawl is a tapestry of memory, each thread bound with care and resilience. As she breathes in its scent, she feels deeply rooted, nourished by the simple beauty of handmade things and the love that shapes them. Returning to her work table, she selects a scroll of papyrus, unrolling it gently to reveal intricate floral patterns painted in soft, jewel-toned inks. The perfumer delights in the artistry, tracing the petals and vines with a reverent fingertip. These scrolls inspire her, offering ideas for new scents and soap designs. She sketches a few quick notes on a scrap of parchment, ideas for a soap infused with violet and honey, inspired by a story her mother once told. Creativity stirs gently within her, a slow unfurling, as she dreams of blends and patterns yet to come. In the dance of firelight and shadow, she is both rooted in tradition and open to possibility, her heart a quiet vessel for beauty's endless renewal. A gentle yawn escapes her lips. The day's labors have brought a pleasant fatigue. She prepares a small bowl of dates and walnuts, dusted with ground cinnamon, and rests for a while on a woven mat beside the hearth. The mat is thick, its surface embroidered with bluebirds and pomegranate branches, the texture pleasantly nubby beneath her fingers. She chews slowly, savoring the richness of the dates and the subtle warmth of spice. As she eats, she reflects on the quiet abundance of her life, the safety of her home, the beauty of her craft, the gentle bonds of friendship. Each bite is a reminder to take pleasure in what is simple and true, to trust that peace can be found, even on the coldest of winter nights. The perfumer's gaze drifts to a small clay lamp on a high shelf, its surface etched with ancient script. She remembers her grandmother's stories, told by lamplight in evenings just like this, tales of far-off lands, caravans moving slowly beneath starry skies, the exchange of treasures and secrets along the Silk Road. She imagines, for a moment, the journey of a single flagon of rose oil, carried by careful hands from garden to market, from one city to another. The lamp's golden light flickers, as if echoing the hope and wonder of those old tales. The perfumer feels their wisdom settle around her, breathing new life into her own quiet corner of the world. She rises and walks softly to a tall clay jar, its rim glazed in the color of summer sky. Inside are pieces of soap from seasons past, each one different, stamped with petals or leaves, colored by the earth's bounty. She lifts a bar, marbled with indigo and saffron, feeling the faint grit of ground walnut shell beneath her thumb. The scent is faint, but gently persistent, a memory of summer fields, golden and green, held safe against the cold. She arranges the soaps in a basket near the fire, their shapes and colors a reminder of nature's endless gift. The basket rests beside her cat, who lifts its head to watch, then sighs contentedly, settling back into sleep. On a nearby shelf, she keeps a collection of small ceramic bowls, glazed in soft blues and greens. Each bowl holds a different treasure: clusters of dried jasmine, curls of cinnamon bark, chips of delicate amber. She selects a piece of amber warmed by the fire and holds it to her nose, closing her eyes as the resin's golden scent blooms around her. It is a fragrance both ancient and new, evoking sunlit afternoons and the laughter of friends. She places the amber in a bowl on her work table, the firelight turning it to liquid gold. As she does so, she feels a gentle connection to all the women before her who have cherished these same simple joys. The perfumer pauses to tidy her work table, arranging her tools in careful order, a small act of mindfulness that soothes her restless thoughts. She folds a length of cotton cloth, smoothing each crease with the flat of her palm, then gathers stray petals and returns them to their jars. The glass is cool, the petals surprisingly soft, as if even in their dried state they hold a measure of summer's warmth. She sweeps a few crumbs from the table and straightens her journal, stacking her notes with quiet satisfaction. The orderliness of her space reflects the peace within her heart. She feels a sense of readiness, as if the quiet night itself has been made just for her. She sits by the fire, hands wrapped around her empty teacup, enjoying the gentle ache of tired muscles and the deep quiet of the winter evening. The flames whisper and crackle, their light filling the room with shifting shadows. She closes her eyes, listening to the sounds around her: the slow tick of a water clock, the distant chime of a bell in the city beyond her walls, the soft sigh of her cat as it dreams. She allows herself to drift, caught between wakefulness and sleep, her thoughts wandering to the scent of plum blossoms, the taste of honey, the embrace of friends. The moment is suspended in time, a lullaby of warmth and light. She recalls a letter received weeks ago, written in the strong, looping hand of an old friend now living by the turquoise sea. The letter, folded carefully and kept in a velvet pouch, is a small treasure. She reads it now by candlelight, tracing each word with her fingertip. Her friend writes of salt breezes, market days, and the smell of lemon groves after rain. The words are a bridge across distances, reminding the perfumer that she is never truly alone. As she rereads the letter, she imagines the laughter of her friend, the sound of her voice, and she sends a silent blessing through the night air, trusting that friendship endures, no matter how far the road winds. She sets the letter aside and lifts a small silver comb, its teeth delicately engraved with vines and blossoms. She draws it slowly through her hair, each stroke meditative. The comb is cool and smooth, its weight reassuring in her palm. She feels the pull of each strand, the gentle release of tension as she works through tangles, and is grateful for these quiet rituals of self-care. She remembers her mother combing her hair as a child, singing songs of saffron fields and wild horses, the notes rising and falling like the waves of the Caspian. The memory is vivid, the comb's touch a link to all the gentle hands that have cared for her through the years. She rises to place a fresh log on the hearth, careful to avoid disturbing her sleeping cat. The new wood catches quickly, sending a wave of warmth across the room. Flickering shadows play across the walls, illuminating the woven tapestries that hang there, each one a story in color and thread. She runs her hand along the edge of a tapestry, marveling at the patience it took to weave such intricate patterns. Pomegranates and gazelles, winding vines, and delicate blossoms unfurl across the cloth, telling stories of love, patience, and beauty. The tapestry is soft beneath her fingers, its colors muted by time but still vibrant, a testament to the enduring power of women's craft. The perfumer lifts a heavy woolen blanket, its surface thick with hand-embroidered flowers, and drapes it over her knees. The weight is comforting, pressing her gently into the woven mat. She takes a moment to gaze at the fire, tracing the path of a single spark as it rises and fades, and feels her breath slowing to match the quiet rhythm of the night. Outside, the snow falls more thickly, softening every edge, every sound. She lets herself imagine the hush of the city at rest, flicker of lanterns, the slow tread of a night watchman, the gentle hush of snow upon stone. Inside her home, she feels deeply held, a part of the ancient rhythm of winter's peace. She stands and walks to the window, drawing back the woven curtain to peer into the night. The courtyard is transformed, blanketed in sparkling white, every branch and stone softened by a thick coat of snow. A pair of lanterns glow at the gate, their light blurred and golden in the swirling flakes. She opens the lattice a crack, letting in a breath of cold, crisp air tinged with the scent of pine and distant smoke. The chill invigorates her, reminding her of winter walks wrapped in wool, collecting pine cones with her sister, laughter rising in white clouds above their heads. She closes the window gently, grateful for the warmth that cocoons her now, and returns to the fire's embrace. On a stool near the hearth rests a shallow bowl of dried apple slices. She takes one, feeling the leathery surface soften on her tongue, the taste sweet and faintly tart. She remembers the late autumn days when the apples were sliced and strung on linen thread, hung to dry in the last sun of the year. Her kitchen had been filled with the scent of fruit, laughter and chatter as neighbors worked side by side. The memory glows warmly, a tapestry of friendship and shared labor. As she savors the dried apple, she feels connected to all those unseen hands, each act of preserving and preparing a gift offered to the self and to others during the long, quiet months of winter. She returns to her craft, uncorking a vial of cypress oil and adding a single drop to a fresh batch of soap cooling in its mold. The oil is resinous, green, and grounding its scent an echo of forest groves and sun-warmed bark. She sprinkles a few grains of crushed coriander over the surface, watching the pattern bloom. The act is slow, deliberate, and filled with care. She leans closer, inhaling the fragrance, her spirit soothed by the promise of spring. The soap will be left to cure by the fire overnight, absorbing the gentle heat. She covers it with a clean cloth, the linen cool and smooth, then sits back, hands folded in her lap, to watch the flames dance. A carved wooden box sits near her work table, gifted by her aunt many winters ago. Inside are small treasures, a painted shell, a silver thimble, scraps of ribbon, and a tiny clay bird. She lifts the bird, feeling its smooth, cool surface in her palm, and smiles at the memory of her aunt's laughter, the warmth of family gatherings. These tokens are more than objects, they are threads in the tapestry of her life, reminders of love and continuity. She arranges them gently on the table, each one catching the firelight, casting long, gentle shadows. The room feels imbued with their history, as if the very air hums with the presence of those who have loved and cared for her. She lights another candle, its beeswax surface dimpled and golden. As the flame flickers to life, it fills the room with a rich, sweet scent that mingles with the perfumes and the warmth of the hearth. The candlelight is soft, forgiving, painting everything it touches in shades of honey and amber. She traces her finger along the edge of the work table, feeling the grain of the wood, polished by countless hours of gentle industry. The comfort found in such familiar things is deep and true, a balm for the spirit. She pauses, letting herself be still, watching the play of light and shadow, listening to the quiet song of fire and winter wind. The perfumer prepares for bed, washing her hands in a bowl of rosewater. The water is cool, silky, and fragrant, the sensation both cleansing and soothing. She dries her hands on a linen towel, its weave soft and slightly rough, and smooths a bit of almond oil into her skin. The ritual is slow, deliberate, a way of honoring her body, of signaling the transition into rest. She braids her hair, the thick plait falling smoothly over her shoulder, then slips on a night robe dyed a soft shade of plum. The fabric is smooth against her skin, its weight gentle and comforting. She moves slowly, reverently, each gesture a small act of self-kindness, preparing herself for the peace of sleep. She sits for a moment at her low dressing table, the surface inlaid with fragments of colored glass. She admires the way the candlelight refracts through the glass, creating tiny rainbows that dance along the wall. She opens a small ivory box, lifting out a piece of amber-scented balm, and rubs it gently on her temples. The scent is rich and calming, wrapping her in a cocoon of warmth. As she breathes in, she reflects on the day's quiet, joyous laughter of her neighbor, the satisfaction of her craft, the simple pleasures of winter. Her heart swells with gratitude, and she offers a silent prayer for all those she loves, near and far, trusting that the night will bring them gentle dreams. Beside her bed, she keeps a woven basket filled with scraps of fabric and half-finished embroidery. She selects a piece of linen, its edges hemmed in tiny, careful stitches, and runs her finger along the seam, marveling at the patience such work requires. The linen is cool and smooth, the thread soft as silk. She picks up her needle, its tip glinting in the candlelight, and adds a few stitches to the border. Tiny bluebirds taking flight against a field of wildflowers. The act is soothing, a meditation in color and form. She feels her breath slow, her thoughts quiet. The room is awash in golden light, the world outside held at bay by snow and silence. The perfumer's thoughts drift to her mother's story, estals of perfumed gardens, moonlit walks, and the first time she ever made soap. She recalls the thrill of discovery, the quiet pride in transforming simple ingredients into something both useful and beautiful. Her mother's hands were always gentle, guiding, teaching her to trust her senses and her own creative spirit. She smiles softly, grateful for the legacy of skill and love passed down through generations. These quiet moments of remembrance fill her with peace, a sense of belonging to a chain of women who have shaped the world with their patient artistry and kindness. She stands to open a carved wooden chest at the foot of her bed. Inside are letters, scraps of poetry, and sketches of flowers and herbs. She sifts through the papers, their edges soft and worn by time. One letter, tied with a faded green ribbon, catches her eye. It is from her childhood friend, who now lives in a mountain village, and describes the first snowfall of the season, the scent of pine and snowmelt, and the joy of baking walnut bread by a roaring fire. She reads the words slowly, letting the beauty of the imagery seep into her bones. The letter is a gift, a reminder that, across distance and time, hearts remain connected by memory and love. She replaces the letter in the chest and closes the lid with care. Sitting on the edge of her bed, she removes her slippers, feeling the coolness of the woven mat beneath her feet. She stretches her toes, enjoying the sensation of release after a long day. Gathering the heavy woolen blanket around her shoulders, she leans back against the soft pillows, their cases embroidered with curling vines and tiny stars. Her cat jumps up, curling beside her in a warm, furry ball. She scratches behind its ears, feeling the gentle rumble of purring, and closes her eyes for a moment, letting herself drift in the gentle warmth of companionship and the promise of rest. A gentle lull settles over the room, the fire's glow growing softer as the evening deepens. She listens to the hush that fills the space, of the quiet crackle of burning wood, the rhythmic breathing of her cat, the distant song of wind in the eaves. She inhales deeply, the scents of rosewater, beeswax, and wood smoke mingling in the air, each breath a balm to her spirit. She lets her thoughts float, untethered, like snowflakes drifting on a winter breeze. The world narrows to this single, peaceful chamber, the warmth of the fire, and the promise of gentle dreams. In this quiet embrace, she feels herself slowly sinking into the safety of the night. She thinks of the market tomorrow, the faces of those she has come to know, the bread seller with her dimpled laughter, the woman who spins silk, the shy baker's apprentice who always asks for rose water soap. She recalls the pleasure of exchanging news, the honest pride in sharing creations, the subtle dance of friendship blooming over time. She feels a quiet satisfaction, knowing her work brings comfort and joy to others. As she imagines the market's bustle, she is soothed by the knowledge that her home will always be a sanctuary, a safe harbor to return to when the world grows cold. The anticipation is gentle, a thread of hope woven through the peace of her winter night. She rises once more, padding softly to the window. The snow has stopped, and the courtyard glows under a sky dusted with stars. She leans her forehead against the cool glass, feeling the world's quiet vastness, the hush of the city asleep beneath its blanket of white. In the stillness, she makes a small wish for health, for happiness, for the gentle unfolding of days filled with meaning. The stars blink gently, as if in answer, their ancient light a reminder of all that endures. She closes the curtain and returns to her bed, warmed by the knowledge that even in the darkest night, light and hope are never far away. Beside her bed, she keeps a small, hand-bound book of poetry. She opens it now, letting her eyes drift over lines written centuries ago, verses of gardens and nightingales, of longing and joy. The words are as fragrant as the perfumes she blends, each syllable blooming in the quiet air. She recites a few lines softly, her voice low and musical. The rose's blush is brief, but the memory of its scent lingers on the morning air. The poetry soothes her, a gentle balm for the soul. As the fire ebbs and the room grows softer, she lets the words settle into her heart, a gentle lullaby to carry her towards sleep. She blows out one of the candles, watching as the thin wisp of smoke curls upward, mingling with the lingering fragrances of her workshop. The room is now dimly lit, the remaining candle painting long, gentle shadows on the wall. She whispers a good night to the spirits of her mothers and grandmothers, to the old cat at her side, to the quiet garden sleeping beneath its cover of snow. She draws the heavy blanket up to her chin, nestling deeper into the soft linen sheets. The quiet is profound, broken only by the slow, steady beat of her heart and the hush of winter beyond the walls. Here, in this cocoon of light and warmth, she finds the truest peace. A gentle, drowsy stillness fills the perfumer's chamber, each shadow softened by candlelight, each sound muted by the thick serenity of snow outside. She lies on her side, one hand beneath her cheek, feeling the cool smoothness of the linen pillowcase, the faint embroidery of stars beneath her fingertips. The cat shifts, kneading the blanket before settling once more, its warmth a small, steady beacon beside her. She listens to the slow drip of water from a melting icicle at the eaves, a peaceful reminder of the world's rhythms. Her eyelids grow heavy, and her thoughts become less distinct, blending the day's memories into a gentle, dreamlike haze. Her breathing grows slow and even, each inhale deep with the scent of rose, each exhale a quiet surrender to rest. The last candle flame flickers and bows low, casting golden light on the curve of the wall, painting delicate shapes that seem to dance in time with her breath. The fire has burned low, embers glowing like a field of tiny rubies. She draws the blanket higher, the weight a comfort, and lets the warmth seep into her bones. She recalls the wisdom of her grandmother, that true rest is found not in silence, but in the gentle presence of all that nourishes and soothes. She lets these thoughts cradle her, safe and cherished, as she drifts closer to sleep. In her mind, she wanders fragrant gardens, their paths lined with wild violets and the silver-green leaves of olive trees. She hears the echo of laughter, distant and sweet, the voices of loved ones blending with the song of nightingales. The memory is soft at the edges, blurred by time, yet vivid enough to bring a smile. She smells the sun-warmed earth, the honeyed scent of jasmine, the tang of ripe pomegranate. These impressions weave through her thoughts, a tapestry of peace and belonging. The quiet hush of the chamber is deepened by these gentle dreams as her breathing slows and her body relaxes, held in the loving embrace of memory and home. The perfumer's dreams are gentle, filled with images of sunlight on stone walls, of baskets of fresh petals, of the patient blending of oils and resins. She feels a sense of accomplishment, a quiet pride in her skill, and an abiding gratitude for the beauty she is able to share. Even as sleep claims her, the scents of her work, lingerose, sandalwood, amber, each one a reminder of the day's gentle joys. Her cat shifts in its sleep, sighing softly, and the perfumer lets her mind drift further into the warmth, trusting the night to hold her safe. The world is silent, cradled by snow, and her heart is at rest. The last embers in the hearth glow faintly, their light low and steady. The air in the chamber is thick with the scents of beeswax and dried flowers, a gentle cocoon against the cold. The perfumer's dreams float softly around her, images of garden paths and candlelit rooms, the laughter of friends, the murmur of gentle conversation. Each breath draws her deeper into peace. Each heartbeat is echoed in the quiet rhythm of the world outside. The snow has ceased to fall, and the city rests under its soft, white blanket. Within her home, all is warmth and safety, and she is free to surrender at last to the night's embrace. The perfumer lies in the in-between, halfway between waking and dreams. She feels the comfort of the heavy blanket, the subtle dip of the mattress beneath her, the cool touch of linen against her skin. In the quiet, her mind drifts over the day, each small act of kindness, each moment of beauty treasured and held close. She imagines the gentle hands of her foremothers weaving strength and tenderness into every thread of her being. The hush is broken only by the slow, even sound of her own breathing, the softest lullaby for a weary soul. Outside, the city sleeps, and she is wrapped in the promise of rest. A faint, silvery chime drifts in from the distant city, a temple bell marking the hour, its tone pure and clear. The sound floats on the night air, threading through her dreams like a silver ribbon, a gentle reminder that time itself can be slow and kind. She lets the ring settle into her thoughts, mingling with the memories of the day, shaping her sleep into something sweet and light. The candle flickers lower, and the shadows lengthen, painting the room in tones of honey and pearl. She nestles deeper into the bed, surrendering to the night's slow rhythm, secure in the gentle certainty that she is home, and all is well. Her last waking thought is of the garden, now silent beneath the snow, each plant quietly gathering strength for the spring to come. She imagines the violet leaves, the tender mint, the roots sleeping in the dark earth, dreaming of sunlight and rain. She breathes in, feeling the promise of renewal in the air, the gentle resilience of all living things. The warmth of the hearth lingers even as the fire dies, the memory of its comfort etched into the night. She lets herself drift, floating on the soft tide of dreams, trusting in the kindness of the world, the safety of her home, and the promise of another gentle day to come. The room grows darker, the last candle flickering in its dish, the air fragrant with the essence of rose and beeswax. Her cat is a warm, purring presence beside her, its fur soft as silk, its breathing slow and even. The perfumer's own breath matches the rhythm, a gentle tide drawing her deeper into sleep. In the silence, she feels the quiet pulse of life, a tiny seed of hope, of joy, of all that is gentle and true. The snow outside muffles every sound, making the night as soft as down. She surrenders, at last, to the darkness, not as something to fear, but as a soft, enfolding embrace, the most tender of all comforts. Now, as the night deepens, the perfumer's breathing becomes slower, her body heavy and warm beneath the woolen blanket. The last of the fire's glow fades to embers, a gentle red pulse in the darkness. The hush of the chamber is complete, the silence broken only by the faintest sigh of wind at the window and the gentle ticking of the water clock. Her dreams are peaceful, filled with gardens in bloom, the laughter of friends, and the scent of distant orchards. The quiet is profound, a deep well of rest. In this place of safety and warmth, the perfumer is held gently, her spirit cradled by everything she loves. The air in the chamber is cool and sweet, tinged with the lingering scents of rose, sandalwood, and beeswax. The linen sheets are soft and smooth, their folds a gentle caress against her skin. The steady weight of the woolen blanket anchors her in the bed, a quiet assurance that she is safe and protected. The cat's breathing is a steady rhythm, its warmth a silent comfort. In her dreams, the perfumer walks through orchards heavy with fruit, the air alive with birdsong and the gentle hum of bees. She gathers flowers, blending scents even in sleep, her heart at peace in the world she has created. The silence of the night is deep, gentle, and unbroken. The candle has burned low, its flame barely more than a whisper, casting faint shadows across the room. The world outside the window is still, the snow reflecting what little starlight there is, turning the courtyard into a field of diamonds. The perfumer's dreams grow softer, her thoughts dissolving into patterns of color and light pink of rose petals, the golden glow of candlelight, the deep green of cypress and mint. She floats in this sea of gentle sensation, wrapped securely in warmth and love, carried ever further from waking toward the peaceful heart of sleep. A gentle lull settles over the perfumer's home. The last embers in the hearth pulse quietly, their warmth fading but their comfort lingering. The linen pillow cradles her head, the blanket is a cocoon of softness and safety. She dreams of weaving silk and dyeing wool, her hands steady and patient, every thread a testament to care. The weight of the world slips away, replaced by the gentle knowledge that she is enough, that her life is woven from acts of beauty and kindness. Her breathing is slow and even, her cat presses a warm paw to her arm, sealing the promise of peace that fills the chamber. The night drifts onward, its silence deepened by the softness of falling snow. The wind outside has quieted, leaving the world hushed and still. The perfumer dreams of early morning markets, tables laden with fragrant soaps and oils, the cheerful greetings of neighbors, the gentle brush of hands exchanging gifts. Even asleep, she feels the warmth of community, the quiet pride of her craft, the enduring connection to all those who share in its gifts. The candle flame gutters and wanes, the room growing darker and softer. Wrapped in warmth, the perfumer lets herself slip deeper, drawn into the slow, peaceful current of night. The chamber is now a nest of shadow and softness, the last candle finally fading. The air is dense with the scents of her craft sweet rose, fresh mint, and the creamy warmth of beeswax. The window is frosted, its glass etched with delicate ice, a silent testament to winter's artistry. The perfumer's dreams are gentle and slow, filled with images of gardens and firelight, baskets of fruit and silk embroidery. Her heart is light, her body at rest. She floats in a sea of gentle sensation, the world narrowing to the soft rhythm of breath, the steady beat of her heart, and the promise of morning's light. The quiet is complete, the world outside muffled by snow, the chamber within stilled by sleep. The perfumer's dreams unfold in soft, drifting image, a sun-dappled garden, a table set with tea and honey cakes, the laughter of friends around a winter hearth. She feels safe, cherished, and at peace, her soul nourished by the simple joys of home and craft. The steady warmth of the blanket, the silken stroke of linen, the soft purr of her cattle combine to cradle her in rest. The silence is a lullaby, a gentle invitation to release the day and surrender to the healing embrace of night. Her breathing is slow and deep, the gentle rise and fall of her chest echoed by the cat curled tight beside her. The chamber is dark but for the faintest glow of embers, their light a memory of warmth and welcome. The linen sheets are cool and fresh, the woolen blanket heavy and anchoring. In dreams, the perfumer wanders a quiet orchard, the scent of quince blossoms and fresh rain drifting on the breeze. Her heart is full, her mind is at ease. The hush of the night deepens, drawing her ever closer to the restful shores of sleep, where all is gentle, safe, and untroubled. The last sounds of the night are barely perceptible, faint crackle of a dying fire, the soft tick of the water clock, the distant, muffled chime from the city's heart. The room is blanketed in darkness and peace, the air fragrant and sweet. The perfumer drifts through gentle dreams of weaving, of spinning silk, of dyeing wool in vats of indigo and saffron. She is surrounded by the quiet company of friends and family, their laughter and love a silent, healing balm. Each breath draws her further into sleep, her body relaxing, her spirit floating in the deep, tranquil sea of the Persian winter night. Now, the world is reduced to the simplest sensations, the weight of the blanket, the softness of linen, the warmth beside her. The silence is profound, the darkness gentle and complete. The perfumer's dreams are slow and circular, looping back on themselves images of firelight, the taste of honey, the scent of fresh-baked bread. Time stretches and slows, each moment dissolving into the next, a gentle spiral leading deeper and deeper into rest. Her breathing is a soft, steady tide, carrying her ever further from the waking world, cradling her in warmth and safety, the only sound in the hushed chamber. All is stillness now. The fire has burned to ash, the candle's flame is only a memory, the city outside sleeps beneath its snowy blanket. The perfumer's home is a sanctuary of darkness and comfort, the air rich with the last traces of perfume and honeyed warmth. She dreams of the slow unfolding of spring, the promise of new life beneath the snow, the gentle return of light to the world. Each breath is a little softer, each heart beats slower. In the deep quiet, she is free from care, held safe by the rituals and beauty of her gentle, contemplative life. Night wraps her in its softest embrace. The chamber's stillness is complete, the only movement the subtle rise and fall of breath. The linen sheets, cool and smooth, cradle her body, the woolen blanket wraps her in quiet, anchoring warmth. The cat is a small, silent sentinel, its purr a faint vibration against the perfumer's arm. Her mind is empty of trouble, filled only with gentle image fields of flowering herbs, the soft glow of lanterns, the taste of saffron and honey. The silence is a comfort, a gentle cloak that shields her from the world's bustle. In this deep night, all is peace, all is rest, all is home. Sleep deepens, the edges of her dreams dissolving into softness and light. The scents of rose and sandalwood linger like a blessing, each breath a gentle reminder of the day's quiet joys. The room is dark, the winter night pressing soft and safe against the walls. The perfumer's body is heavy with rest, her mind adrift in gentle currents of memory and hope. The last embers in the hearth pulse faintly, holding the promise of warmth until morning. Her cat's fur is silken beneath her hand, a silent talisman of comfort and peace. In this sanctuary, she is held, loved, and gently led into the deepest sleep. The silence grows even deeper, broken only by the rhythm of breath and the quiet settling of cooling wood in the hearth. The air is tinged with the sweetness of beeswax and the faint spice of dried petals. The city outside remains hushed, its streets blanketed in snow, its lamps winking beneath the silver sky. The perfumer dreams of gardens blooming in sunlight, of markets bustling with friendly faces, of the slow, patient work of her hands. Each image is a benediction, a gentle blessing that soothes her spirit. The night is deep and quiet, an endless pool in which to float safe and undisturbed until the dawn. The chamber is now the whole world, a cocoon of linen, wool, and darkness. The slow, steady sound of her breathing is the only music. She dreams of weaving and embroidery, of the scent of rose petals and the taste of sweet tea. Her body is still, her mind at rest. The cat shifts, pressing closer, and she sighs softly, sinking deeper into the mattress, the blanket, the silence. The air is cool but not cold, the last warmth of the fire lingering like a memory. All is well, all is at peace. The night presses gently, lulling her into the deepest, safest sleep. Her dreams are circular now, looping through images of warmth, comfort, and kindness. She feels the softness of her linen sheets, the weight of the woolen blanket, the gentle purr of her cat. The darkness is complete, the silence profound. She floats in this sea of safety, her spirit untroubled by the world outside. The scent of rose and beeswax is a steady undercurrent, a soft anchor in the drifting tide of sleep. The night is endless and gentle, her heart at peace. Each breath is slower, each heartbeat softer. She is home, she is warm, she is safe. The world fades, leaving only comfort. All is stillness and dark, with only the softest threads of dream weaving through her mind. The perfumer's breathing is even, her body heavy and anchored in the familiar embrace of her bed. The silence of the room is a gentle balm, so deep it seems to hum with the memory of music, laughter, and whispered stories. She dreams of Hancha own, her mother's, her grandmother's folding linen, blending scents, shaping beauty from simple things. In these dreams, there is no hurry, only the promise of slow, gentle unfolding. The hush is absolute. She surrenders to rest, floating in a tranquil sea of darkness and warmth. The last traces of the day dissolve into a peaceful, silver silence. The chamber is dark, save for the faintest glow of embers, the gentle rise and fall of the perfumer's breath, and the soft, rhythmic purring of her cat. She is adrift in a world of gentle dreams, gardens in bloom, cups of fragrant tea, the touch of cool linen and the weight of woolen blankets. Each sensation is a lullaby, a gentle nudge further into sleep. The air is fragrant, the darkness kind. The night holds her steady, and she yields, letting her thoughts drift away, replaced by the deep, healing quiet of rest. The silence is so complete it feels like a soft embrace, holding her at the edge of sleep. The scents of beeswax, rose, and sandalwood linger, gentle reminders of the day's beauty. Her body is still, every muscle relaxed beneath the soothing weight of the blanket. The cat's warmth is a silent reassurance, a steady presence. Her dreams are simple, no patterns of color, impressions of softness, the suggestion of a distant lullaby. She drifts in this quiet sea, undisturbed by anything but the slow, rhythmic pulse of her own heart. The world is reduced to comfort and calm, the night endless and safe. The room is cool, the air sweet with the faint perfume of dried flowers and honey. The linen sheets are soft, the woolen blanket heavy and secure. The only movement is the gentle shifting of the cat, the slow rise and fall of her breathing. Sleep enfolds her, carrying her into dreams of sunlight, laughter, and the delicate work of her hands. The silence deepens, the darkness grows softer. She floats, weightless and free, in the gentle cradle of night. Each moment is slower, more peaceful, until only the steady, quiet rhythm of breath remains a lullaby for the soul, leading her ever deeper into sleep. All is hushed, the darkness complete. The fire's glow has faded, leaving only the memory of warmth. The perfumer's breathing is slow and even, her body a quiet landscape of rest. The silence is profound, the air thick with the lingering scents of her rose, sandalwood, honey, and beeswax. Her dreams are gentle and wordless now, impressions of color and warmth, the soft brush of linen, the taste of sweet tea. The world outside is lost in snow and shadow, but within, all is calm. The night is a slow river, carrying her deeper into peace, deeper into the gentle, contemplative rest she has earned. Stillness reigns in the perfumer's chamber, the only sound the steady, slow breath of one at peace. Her mind is empty, her body deeply relaxed, all tension dissolved in the soft embrace of linen and wool. The cat is a warm curl at her side, its purring a faint, comforting hum. The darkness is gentle, enfolding her in a cocoon of safety and quiet. In her dreams, she drifts through fragrant gardens, her hands gentle and sure, weaving beauty from the world's bounty. Each breath is a step further from waking, a slow surrender to the deep, healing tide of sleep. All is well, all is rest. The chamber is silent, the air cool and sweet with the memory of rose petals, beeswax, and wood smoke. The last ember in the hearth fades, the darkness deep and velvety. The perfumer is lost in gentle dream, simple shapes, soft colors, impressions of warmth and safety. The weight of the blanket, the coolness of the linen, the warmth of her cat all combine to cradle her, holding her safe within the night. There is no time here, only peace, only rest. The silence is a song, the darkness a lullaby. She floats, untethered, in the deep sea of sleep, surrounded by comfort and love. The last traces of the day are gone, leaving only the richness of night. The perfumer's breathing is a slow, even tide. The world is reduced to touched cool slip of linen, the heaviness of wool, the warmth of the cat curled at her side. Her dreams are gentle, circular, filled with the promise of morning yet distant on the horizon. The silence of the chamber is absolute, the darkness soft and sheltering. She is carried by the slow, steady beat of her heart, the assurance of safety and home. The night lulls her ever deeper, each moment softer, each breath slower, until she is wholly at rest. Now, the only movement is the gentle rise and fall of her chest, the slow shifting of the cat, the almost imperceptible settling of the mattress beneath her. The air is still, fragrant with the memory of flowers and honey. The chamber is dark, the silence complete. Her dreams are wordless, formed of sensation and peacefulness, warmth, the faint echo of laughter. She sinks deeper, her awareness dissolving into the quiet, the restful dark. The world outside is invisible, lost in snow and shadow, but within, there is only comfort, only the gentle embrace of a peaceful, contemplative night. The darkness is total now, the room a cocoon of softness and silence. The perfumer's breathing is slow and steady, her body heavy with rest. The warmth of the blanket, the coolness of linen, the softness of her cat, these are the only sensations remaining. She drifts in a sea of gentle dreams, her mind empty of care, her spirit at peace. The silence is a balm, the darkness a gentle cloak. She floats, untroubled, in the deep heart of night, the world narrowed to comfort and calm. Each breath is slower, each moment softer, until only the quiet rhythm of sleep remains. All is stillness, all is peace. The chamber is dark, silent, and safe, the perfumer lost in a deep and healing sleep. The linen sheets cradle her, the woolen blanket holds her safe, the cat is a warm weight at her side. The air is cool, scented faintly with the lingering memory of rose and sandalwood. She is adrift in dreams of gardens, firelight, and gentle hand her own and those of the women who came before her. The silence is endless, the darkness soft and kind. She is home, she is warm, she is deeply at rest, the world outside forgotten, the night infinite. The silence has settled into every corner of the chamber, wrapping the perfumer in its deepest embrace. Her breathing is slow, the rise and fall of her chest steady and sure. The linen pillow is cool, the woolen blanket heavy and comforting. Her dreams are soft impressions of color and light, the scent of garden herbs, the distant echo of laughter. The cat's purr is a faint vibration, a gentle assurance that all is well. The darkness is complete, the quiet profound. She is safe, she is at peace, she is held in the gentle, eternal arms of night and sleep. Stillness reigns, the chamber is silent and dark. The perfumer's body is heavy and relaxed, her breathing deep and even. The warmth of the blanket, the softness of linen, the gentle presence of her cat are all that remain. Dreams drift like smokelight, wordless, filled with the memory of firelight and the scent of flowers. The silence is total, the darkness absolute. She floats in a sea of comfort, the world outside completely gone. Each breath is slower, each heartbeat softer, until only the quiet, repetitive lull of sleep exists. She is at rest, she is safe, she is deeply, endlessly, calmly asleep. The chamber is a cocoon of darkness and quiet, the perfumer held gently in the heart of her home. The linen sheets are cool, the woolen blanket warm and heavy, the cat a peaceful presence at her side. Her dreams are soft and slow, formed of color and scent, memory and hope. The silence is deep and unbroken, the darkness complete. Each breath carries her further from waking, each heartbeat lulls her deeper into peace. The world outside is gone, only the gentle, contemplative night remains. She is safe, she is cherished, she is wholly at rest. All is still. The chamber is dark and silent, the air cool and fragrant, the only sound the slow rhythm of breath, the quiet heartbeat of rest. The linen is smooth, the blanket heavy, the cat still and warm. The world has faded, leaving only the soft, endless peace of sleep. She is safe, she is loved, she is home. The night is gentle, the darkness kind, the silence profound. Each breath, each heartbeat is a lullaby, a quiet, repetitive rhythm guiding her ever deeper into the soft embrace of rest. The perfumer sleeps, and all is peace. And so, dear friend, our gentle journey comes to a close. Thank you so very much for spending this peaceful evening with us. We hope this story has brought you comfort, warmth, and the sweetest rest. Until next time, sleep well, and know that another cozy tale awaits you soon. Good night.